The apartment wasn't much, but it was mine. After 6 months of couch surfing and living out of a duffel bag, the scuffed hardwood floors and water-stained ceilings of apartment 3B felt like a palace. It was a walk-up in an old, monolithic brick building that smelled of dust and boiled cabbage. But it was quiet, affordable, and most importantly, it was a space where I could finally shut the door on the world. After the landlord handed me the keys and left, I found the note. It was sitting on the yellowed kitchen counter, a single sheet of paper folded neatly in half. The handwriting was a nervous, spidery scrawl. It was from the previous tenant. I chuckled, assuming it would be a list of tips about the neighborhood or complaints about the landlord. I was wrong. It was a list of rules. Rules for living in apartment 3B. 1. The kitchen faucet has a slow drip. To stop it, you have to jiggle the cold water handle sharply to the left. Don't try to fix it. The landlord will make it worse. 2. The floorboards in the hallway creak. You'll get used to them. So will they. 3. Keep the bathroom door closed at all times, especially when you sleep. It's not about privacy. I smiled, shaking my head. The previous tenant was clearly an eccentric. The first rule was practical enough. I tested the faucet, and sure enough, a firm jiggle stopped the annoying plink plink plink. The second and third rules were strange, but I chalked them up to the quirks of an old building and an odd personality. I tossed the note back on the counter and began the arduous process of unpacking my life from cardboard boxes. The first week was a blur of activity, and I mostly forgot about the list. I learned to navigate the creaky floorboards in the hallway without thinking. I kept the bathroom door closed out of a newfound, unexamined habit. The apartment was settling around me, or perhaps I was settling into it. The silence I had craved was finally mine. It was on the second Tuesday that I remembered rule number 4. 4. If you hear a scratching sound inside the bedroom closet late at night, pay it no mind. It's just the old pipes settling. Don't open the closet to check. I was lying in bed, reading a book, when I first heard it. A faint, dry skittering sound from inside the closet. It sounded exactly like a mouse, or as the note suggested, old pipes contracting in the cold. My rational mind told me it was nothing, but the explicit instruction not to check made my skin crawl. Every instinct told me to get up, to fling the door open and confront the source of the noise. But the memory of the note, the eerie certainty in that spidery handwriting, held me in place. I pulled the covers up to my chin and forced myself to ignore it until it eventually faded away. The rules had stopped being quirky. They were becoming tests of my nerve. A few nights later, I experienced rule number 6. 6. Sometimes, a woman can be heard crying through the old ventilation shaft in the living room. Her sadness is not for you. Do not speak to her. Do not try to comfort her. Acknowledging her only makes her loneliness worse. I was watching television when a faint, mournful sound drifted from the vent near the ceiling. It was the unmistakable sound of a woman weeping, a sound of pure, inconsolable grief. It was so real, so full of pain, that my heart ached with pity. I wanted to call out, to ask if someone was okay, thinking it might be a neighbor. But rule number 6 screamed in my mind. Her sadness is not for you. I muted the TV and sat in the dark, listening to the ghostly sobs echo through my apartment for nearly an hour, feeling like a helpless, unwilling intruder in someone else's eternal sorrow. By the third week, I was living by the list. It was no longer a curiosity, it was a survival guide. I never left the hallway light on. I never looked in the closet when I heard the scratching. I never spoke to the crying woman. I was a prisoner to the apartment's strange, unspoken rhythms, my initial joy at having my own place curdling into a quiet, persistent dread. The worst rule, the one I prayed I would never have to follow, was the last one on the list. 8. This is the most important rule. If you wake up in the middle of the night and find your bedroom door is open, even a crack, you must not get out of bed. Do not call out. Do not look into the hallway. Close your eyes, control your breathing, and pretend you are fast asleep. Lie perfectly still until you hear the front door click shut. Only then is it safe. Last night, I followed my own new rule. triple-checking that my bedroom door was firmly closed and locked before getting into bed. I fell into a restless sleep, the apartment's oppressive silence a constant weight. I awoke suddenly, unsure why. The room was pitch black, but something was wrong. A draft, a cold sliver of air was cutting across my face. My eyes adjusted to the gloom, and my heart seized in my chest, stopping my breath. The bedroom door, the one I had securely locked, was now standing ajar, open just enough to reveal a vertical slice of the deeper darkness of the hallway beyond. Rule number 8. A cold sweat broke out across my entire body. I could hear a sound from the living room. It was a soft, wet, shuffling noise, like someone in damp slippers, slowly exploring. My mind screamed at me to run, to hide, to do anything. But the rule was absolute. Pretend you are fast asleep. I squeezed my eyes shut, my entire body rigid with a terror so profound it was paralyzing. I focused on my breathing, trying to make it slow and even, a Herculean task when my lungs were screaming for air. The shuffling grew closer, pausing just outside my open bedroom door. I could feel a presence there, standing in the doorway, watching me. I felt its gaze on my face, a cold, heavy pressure. The urge to open my eyes, to confront it, was a physical pain. I lay there for what felt like a lifetime, trapped in my own feigned slumber, listening to the subtle sounds of my apartment being explored. A drawer in the kitchen opened with a soft scrape. A floorboard in the living room groaned. A quiet, breathy sigh, so close it felt like it was right next to my bed. Time ceased to have meaning. I was only aware of the terror and the desperate, focused effort of pretending to be asleep. Then, after an eternity, I heard it. The faint, almost imperceptible click of the front door latching shut. I didn't move. I lay there for hours, my eyes screwed shut, until the first, pale rays of morning light filtered through my window, promising that the night was finally over. Only then did I dare to open my eyes. I got up, my body aching from the tension. I cautiously checked the apartment. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was broken or out of place. It was as if no one had ever been there. For a moment, I allowed myself to think I had imagined it all. Then I walked back into my bedroom. The list of rules was no longer on the kitchen counter. It was sitting on my pillow, right next to the indentation where my head had been. The spidery handwriting was the same, but there was a new entry at the bottom. The ink was fresh, written in a shaky, terrified hand that I recognized as my own, though I had no memory of writing it. 9. Tell the new tenant you left them a list of rules.